Welcome back to another explainer. I'm sitting right here at my desk, looking at my digital screen. I've just logged into the Cambridge marking portal, and my live counter for ScriptSmart today is sitting at 0. Right next to it is my mark verification meter. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on something huge. We're diving deep into the rigorous grading process behind the Cambridge Arabic Language 8680 paper. Specifically, we're going to look at Paper 4, Section 1. This is the section featuring passage-based questions with a stimulus text. We've got our hands on the actual mark schemes, the principal examiner reports, and the syllabus breakdowns. I want to show you exactly what happens the second an Arabic exam script hits my grading desk. We're going to explore how a student's answer climbs up into those top-tier marking bands, and conversely, exactly why some answers drop right into the failing thresholds. It is an absolutely fascinating process, so let's just jump right in and unpack the methodology. Now, I want you to think about the number 15. This specific stimulus passage section accounts for approximately 15% of the total marks in Paper 2. So this isn't just a minor section. This is a massive, high-stakes battleground for candidates. Honestly, from what I see on the marking desk every single day, this 15% is very often the deciding factor between securing an A-star and dropping down to a B. Seeing how a student handles this specific section really dictates their entire academic trajectory for this qualification. It's make or break. So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the anatomy of the mark scheme. Second, we have a pure clash between two student archetypes, Alex and Sam. Third, a methodology masterclass. Fourth, an interactive live marking audit. And finally, number 5, the final grading strategy. All right, let's dive into Section 1, the anatomy of the mark scheme. This is what happens in the very first seconds of grading. When I pull up a high-tariff, multi-part Cambridge past paper question on my interface, I perform a 15-second structural scan. I am looking directly for the core assessment objectives, AO1, AO2, and AO3. And based on the principal examiner reports, there are 3 fatal errors that immediately stand out and force me to drop a candidate's score. Number 1 is confusing cause and effect within the passage narrative. Number 2 is failing to quote the source text as evidence. If you aren't quoting the text, you aren't proving your point. And number 3 is providing generic answers that completely ignore the specific cultural or linguistic context of the passage. Look, if a student gives me a memorized, generic response instead of actively engaging with the actual Arabic text provided in the stimulus, their marks immediately drop into the failing thresholds. Let's break down the exact sentence structures that signal to me whether a student is passing or excelling. We have a 3-tier framework: descriptive, analytical, and evaluative. On the descriptive level, which is basically a C or D tier, candidates give me superficial breadth. They might just describe the text by saying something like, "The author uses adjectives." It's true, but it's shallow. Moving up to the analytical level requires logical reasoning. A student might write, "The author uses harsh adjectives to show the character's anger." Better, right? But if you want that A-star, you need the evaluative tier. This requires deeper justification. An A-star candidate writes, "While the passage initially presents a nostalgic tone, evaluating the author's specific use of harsh adjectives reveals an underlying critique of the cultural situation." Do you see the difference? The exact sentence structure you choose instantly signals to the examiner which tier you belong in. Moving right along to Section 2, the peer clash. Let's look at 2 classic candidate approaches to textual analysis. I want you to imagine a live debate between 2 students actively trying to write a model response. We'll call them Alex and Sam. Alex's strategy is to provide literal translations and massive, unorganized paragraph dumps of facts. Alex is practically saying, "Look at all these textbook definitions I know." But here's the problem. It lacks any real analysis of the passage's themes. I'm desperately searching for analysis, and it's just not there. On the flip side, we have Sam. Sam writes a beautiful Arabic prose filled with incredible vocabulary and flowery linguistic flair. But Sam dances completely around the core command word. Sam argues that the writing style is enough, completely failing to anchor those beautiful sentences to the specific prompt or provide direct textual evidence. So, as an examiner, I have to penalize both of them. Both archetypes are missing the top marks, just in entirely different ways. Let's move into Section 3, the methodology masterclass, where we fix these mistakes. Let me step in as the chief examiner to correct both Alex and Sam. If they want to write a flawless top-band response, they have to use a very specific structural sequence demanded by the syllabus. Step 1, identify textual evidence from the stimulus passage. Step 2, construct a logical argument based squarely on that evidence. Step 3, analyze the precise linguistic devices the author used. Step 4, check that your interpretation actually aligns with the broader cultural and textual context of the passage. And Step 5, make evaluative conclusions about the author's intent. This sequence flawlessly reconnects the argument string. It is the absolute structural anchor required to reach that A-star tier. This brings us to a crucial concept in the grading process, which is the methodical analysis strategy. Here's a secret from the grading desk. Marks are awarded for showing a clear, systematic, analytical process and excellent use of textual evidence, even if your ultimate thematic conclusion differs slightly from the most common interpretation. Think about that. If you follow the rigorous sequence of identifying elements, applying literary principles, and citing evidence, you secure crucial method marks. You outsmart the marking desk because the methodology itself proves your high-level linguistic comprehension. Okay, time out. I'm going to push back from my desk and grab a quick sip of coffee. Before I grade this final model paragraph and show you the exact mistake that costs thousands of candidates their A-star, let's secure your own academic trajectory. Hit the subscribe button for Ace the Exams right now and turn on all notifications. Whether you are sitting for IGCSE, O-levels, AS, or A-levels, this is your direct channel to outsmart the marking desk. All right, coffee break is over. Let's get back to the scripts. Welcome to Section 4, our interactive live marking audit. I'm handing the digital grading pen over to you. We're doing a live, high-pressure workshop right now. Imagine a 60-second timer counting down on my screen. Challenge 1, doing a rapid data scan of a complex Arabic text matrix. Can you extract the core thematic argument the student is trying to make? And Challenge 2, spot the penalty. I want you to mentally scan the response and find the exact line where a descriptive fluff or a technical weak link forfeits 5 critical marks. Got it? Let me take my digital red marker and highlight the exact flaws live for you. The penalties are right here. First, the candidate misinterpreted a key cultural idiom. Second, they slipped into a colloquial Arabic register instead of maintaining a formal academic tone. And third, they completely lacked proper textual quotation to back up their claims. This destroys a score. It literally does not matter how expressive or beautiful Sam's writing feels. If the technical application of the language and evidence is flawed in these 3 specific ways, the mark scheme demands that I apply a penalty. So how do we fix it? Top-scoring candidates assemble a flawless response paragraph by deploying specific traits of evaluative thinking. They actively evaluate the authorial intent, they meticulously analyze subtle tone shifts, they recognize the deep cultural nuance within the vocabulary, they weigh the impact of different linguistic choices, and most importantly, they justify every single decision with hard evidence pulled straight from the text. When you assemble a paragraph using these traits, it inherently meets the highest assessment objectives. Let's move to Section 5, our final grading strategy, and wrap up our marking session. So Alex and Sam have finally worked together to assemble their completed, flawless response paragraph using our Peel's structure. I am now entering a perfect, full-mark score into the Cambridge system. If we distill this entire session down, the universal truth from the principal examiner reports is that candidates who reference cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. Creating a knowledge map to integrate concepts like connecting specific linguistic analysis with grammatical structures and cultural themes is the ultimate key to A-star marks. And as a focused learner, mastering these fundamental principles inherently develops the core Cambridge learner attributes. By structurally breaking down complex texts, you build confidence. You take responsibility for your academic register. You show reflectiveness by testing your interpretations. You develop innovation in how you weigh linguistic choices, and you show true engagement with the material. This is what we want to see. The marking truths we've uncovered today prove that methodical, evidence-based analysis will always beat unstructured flair. So, before you log off, I have a demand for you. Subscribe to Ace the Exams, click the notification bell for our weekly examiner breakdowns, and leave a comment right now stating your subject, your qualification level, and your current target grade. Engage with this process to secure your trajectory. I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. Knowing that method marks can save you, and knowing exactly how much structure matters to us at the grading desk, how will you systematically deconstruct your next complex past paper question? Are you going to just translate facts like Alex, or are you going to build a layered, textually supported argument that commands the top marking bands? The choice is yours. Thank you for joining me on The Explainer today, and keep that curiosity sharp.